Hey YouTube, it's Sea Witch in Seattle, and we're doing the Pagan weekly YouTube challenge. And we are, awesome Seattleites, and we're being stereotypical with our coffees, our peppermint mochas. We're keeping it Seatown. Just kidding. So this is my fabulous Zach, and he is a pagan like all of us, or I don't know, you could be whatever religion, of course, watching this and just getting information. But today we're going to be talking about if we are out of the broom closet, because it is a kind of a scandalous thing to be out of the broom closet for some of us, and we have different stories to tell, and it's going to be exciting. So first, Zach, why don't you explain a little bit about what your beliefs are, so that way the internets will know who you are a little bit.
Oh gods. So I would consider myself primarily a heathen, a pagan, heathen, eclectic. Mine is kind of strange. It's more of a dualism between Eastern beliefs, as in like Hindu deities and practices, with a bit of Buddhism, but primarily with a heathen Norse Scandinavian foundation. A little bit of Celtic in there.
So just a little amalgamation. So to expand on that, we're both a part of the same coven or group of witches, obviously in sunny Seattle. The jokes. But yeah, so we pretty much the same views on beliefs. I consider myself a sea witch. We're basically like, we're like the heads of our coven, and we make all of our rituals together and exciting stuff like that. So let's get to the topic, because we could go on and on about that, but there's so many more topics to go through, and you'll hear all about that wonderfulness. So the question today is, are we out of the broom closet? So Zach, why don't you tell us your story, and delightful story about that.
It's fairly simple. I'm completely out of the broom closet to everyone. My family, I don't really I just don't discuss it. Just because they're chill, but they're pretty fundamentalist in their Abrahamic religion.
I should interrupt really quick and say that we both are from, okay, so obviously Seattle is like a big, liberal, awesome city. Metropolitan, yeah. So we both went to the same high school, so we've known each other for quite a while. And our school
7 years.
Yeah, we went to school in a valley. So cows and
very aggregate.
Yeah, and people, and there was a group, how schools have cliques. Well, our school had cowboys as a clique. I mean, that's so just to illustrate what kind of background our parents, where our parents live. So yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yeah,
they needed to know a little bit. They're not from Seattle.
Right. My family is they're non-denominational Christians, which that's chill. I am not. I'm out to everyone as a heathen witch. Except I just kind of, don't really discuss those things with my family. There's enough things about me that we don't really need discussion for.
Yeah.
Again, nothing is hidden. It's just
no one's asked about it.
Never grew up talking about it. Don't really feel the need to. But everyone else, work, friends, strangers.
No. Do you feel comfortable downtown being a witch?
No.
Do you just kind of tell people and not really worry about it?
I
How do you feel?
I had a man up by the QFC by my house. It was last year. It's January, so it was a couple months ago. I was walking past, of course, in a wonderful poncho.
Oh, I love that poncho.
I was walking past, going to the grocery store, and he asked if I had any money, and I didn't at the time, and I said, no, sorry. And he, as I walked past, he was like, fucking witch. Literally.
I didn't know this story. I've never heard this before.
Literally, he was like, oh, fucking witch. And I was just like, thank you.
You're like, great.
Yes.
But you're kind of like, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
You're
I was like, absolutely.
absolutely.
I'm like, yeah, I am a witch who fucks sometimes. But,
Yeah.
yeah. How about you?
Okay. So, I'm not like Zach is out to his mom at least. I feel like he hasn't like said the words like, "Mom, I'm a pagan, I'm a witch, I'm a heathen," but he's got various. We're in his house, his apartment right now, and there's various pagan. Like, I mean, it's pretty clear. I mean, he's drawn a Baphomet on the Starbucks cup, and it's like displayed. There's like cauldrons and candles and like, you know, or he's got like big like hold on, let me show you carefully. He's got like herb jars with like Theban on them, like on the bottom.
Well, not anymore. I took those off.
You stopped. Okay, well he had Theban.
Theban for a
He
while.
had Theban, or I mean, it's just very obvious. So like, how did your mom feel about that? Like when she, like,
About the
explain
herbs, or-
explain kind of what your like the funny things your mom says about being a witch. Like,
Oh, she just always is talking about how I need to come back to the light and come away from the darkness and the dark things in the world, and I'm just like, no. Because dark, yeah. I mean, yeah, whatever. The philosophy of dark and what's not dark is a whole nother
topic.
A whole nother sort of video.
So for me, unfortunately, due to some like disastrous circumstances, I've actually relocated back to the dadgum diddly place. That's what we call it. That our families live. So I'm enjoying living with my parents. Of course, that's sarcasm. I don't know, Seattle sarcasm. I am partially out of the broom closet. Everybody in Seattle, look at your face, just slapping it. Everybody in Seattle knows I'm like a fucking witch. Like, we're kind of like a duo witch team. Like, people know it, kind
A
of.
working couple.
Basically. LGBT, weird platonic couple. But, yeah, we have like people that like, people ask Zach to like cleanse their house. People ask me for divination, like all sorts of just stuff like that. So out here, we kind of, I mean, I feel like there's a saying that Seattle's pagan Rome because it's full of like the queer, gay, lesbian, like in this room, and witchy type of people. Mm-hmm. And we're all about that right now, and everyone's like cool with it. It's kind of just cool. Like, we're not witches because it's cool. I've been practicing my stuff for quite a bit of time. I think I talked about that in the other video. But yeah, it's cool. It's like, it's okay. It's like very acceptable because we're in such a liberal zone, especially up on Capitol Hill. It's all people who are witches and gays, and there's lots of gay witches out here. It's kind of magical. But back where, okay, my family is non-denominational Christian, but my mom's like pretty fundamentalist Christian. And if you're not in like, if you don't fit in her like cookie cutter like expectation of like the kind of human being that you should be, you're not like, you are not a person that she wants to be around. Like, get out, basically. So with that respect, I have to hide my altars, which we're going to talk about altars in the next video. So I have to set up temporary altars and then just take them immediately down. I have like I have like 3 boxes full of like my witchy supplies, but they have to be like, I cover them with a blanket so like people won't even get curious. All my journals have to be hidden, all my divination tools have to be hidden, and it's just really like taxing, basically, and ridiculous. My family and I don't really communicate with each other about anything, like nothing serious. It has to be like super like easy, like, you know, how are you? I'm good, okay? Like, that's it. Or like everybody starts fighting because nobody like is on the same page with stuff. Like, I feel like they're not very open-minded about really anything. So it's kind of like, oh, well, obviously you have some flaws. Like, you need to, like, find Christ, blah, blah, blah. I grew up in the church, by the way. It's like, I do know about, yeah, so we both know about, like, Abrahamic religion. I've read the Quran, I've read the Torah, I've read the New Testament. I like, respect anybody who has different beliefs than me, but, like, we're individuals and can think for ourselves. That's just how it is. But yeah, it's like my mom's super religious. And like I said in the other video, wasn't even allowed to watch, like, Disney movies that had witches in it. Like, Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, that was not happening in my house. That was not happening. So, I mean, just imagine. And also, I've noticed, like, stuff gone missing. Like, if I do leave something out, I'll notice it getting basically trashed. So, without, like, warning. So, that's pretty effing annoying. So, basically, my advice to you, like, if you're young or if you're still, like, if you are forced into, like, a horrible situation back with your family and they're not very accepting, keep it to yourself until you're safe. It's kind of like coming out being, like, we're both obviously not straight people. Like, it's basically like that. If you're going to be in a dangerous situation, like, don't fuck with that. Like,
raise your wards.
Raise your wards, girl, yeah. But on the flip side of, like, sure, that's really negative. Like, honestly, I'd be disowned probably if I said either of those two things to my fam. So it's just kind of like, just let it be, son. You know, like, I just don't mess with it and just let the sleeping tiger lay and just let it alone, because there's just no point. It's just gonna be a big fight.
Do know that there are communities out there.
Absolutely.
Not to get all it gets better, but
no, but for real.
But it does.
But it does. And, like,
just find
Seattle's so eclectic. Like, I don't know what, you know, obviously people are on doing this pagan channel from, like, London and Australia and, like, Iceland or whatever. Like, there is gonna be some sort of eclectic community somewhere close to you, and maybe if you're too young to, like, bus there or drive there yourself, in time you'll be able to do that. And yeah, so I mean, Seattle's really eclectic. It's very accepting. There's lots of people that are interested in what we're doing and want to sit in on a ritual. There's lots of pagan shops around. I mean, it's an okay place. It's okay for me to be myself. It's okay for Zach to be himself. And we're pretty cool. We're pretty good on that front. So yeah, do you have anything else to say about coming out of the broom closet?
I think we covered it.
All right, guys. Then we will see you in the next topic. So see you later.